Most people in the morning wake up and bring their problems from yesterday into today. Those problems are connected to certain memories, while those memories are connected to certain things. Your brain is like a pre-recorded message that plays in a loop every single day. Now, if your brain is a record of your past, and you wake up each and every day, your brain is thinking and responding to living in that past. Each memory has an emotion, and emotion is the final product of those experiences. So the moment you recall one of those memories, you will emotionally feel unhappiness, sadness, and pain. How you think and how you feel creates your state of being. In other words, it creates your character. If your entire state of being comes from your past, that means before long, your past will inevitably become your future. For example, something that happened to you yesterday made you quite angry, and today when you woke up, you think about it and you become angry all over again. If you keep doing this for a few days, people will think that you are just having a bad day. If you keep doing this for a longer period, such as a week, people will think that you are in a bad mood. If you do this long enough, this will eventually become part of your character. You will be known as someone who is always angry. So as you can see, your thoughts definitely have something to do with your destiny. So this means if you keep thinking in the past, you will most definitely keep creating the same life, without realizing that you keep creating the very same thing that you don't even like. Now here's how it usually happens. You wake up, you grab your phone, you check your socials, you send a few emails, then you check the news, and now you feel really connected to everything that is known in your life. And now the routine behaviors will take over. You get out of bed on the same side. You go to the washroom, you brush your teeth, you have a shower. You get dressed, you put on your favorite t-shirt and your favorite pair of pants. Then you let your dog out, you feed the cat, you walk to the coffee pot, you open the cupboard, you grab your favorite coffee mug, then you pour the best cup of coffee you've ever had. Now you drive to work the very same way as you always have. You walk into the office, you are greeted by the very same people that know how to push the very same emotional buttons that they always have. When the work is done, you will now rush home to get ready to do the very same things all over again tomorrow. This now becomes a routine, and a routine works much like a computer program. You have now lost your free will to a program. It is no longer you who runs the show, but now a subconscious program. 95% of who we are by the time we reach 35 years of age becomes a memorized set of behaviors, emotional reactions, unconscious habits, hardwired attitudes, beliefs, and perceptions that function like a computer program. The 5% that is left of your conscious mind can now say, I want to be happy and I want to be free. But the body is run by a different program. You are putting the 5% of your conscious mind up against the 95% of your subconscious mind. Now, which force do you think will win? There's no wonder you can't make changes and therefore using the same program, which in turn is creating the exact same life. So how do you make changes? According to Dr. Joe Dispenza, you must get beyond your analytical mind, because what separates the conscious mind from the subconscious mind is the analytical mind. This is accomplished through the practice of meditation. You can learn how to change your brainwaves and slow them down, and when done properly, you can now enter the operating system, where you can make fundamental changes. Most people wait for a crisis, trauma, disease, or diagnosis before they start any kind of a change. Why wait for negative things to happen? You can learn in a state of pain and suffering, or you can learn to change in a state of joy and inspiration. Most people spend 70% of their lives living in survival. They live in stress. So they're always anticipating the worst case scenario based on their past experiences. They literally choose the negative things out of the infinite potential of the quantum field by selecting the worst possible outcome. Every time you recall a negative event, you produce the same chemistry in your mind and in your body, as if the event is occurring all over again. You are sending the same emotional signals to your body, and your body is your subconscious mind in a sense because it does not know the difference. Your body thinks that the event is actually happening right now. Most people are recreating their negative emotional states by constantly thinking about them. So when it comes time to give out that negative emotion, they can say, I really want to change. But the problem is that the body right now is stronger than the mind. This is because the body has been conditioned for years and sometimes decades to negative emotions. The body was a servant once, but now has become the master. All of a sudden, when you decide to make a change and step into the unknown, the body does not like it. The body would rather feel guilt and suffering because it is familiar and it can predict it. Simply being in the unknown is a very scary place for the body. If you try to push it into the unknown, it will do everything in its power to stop you, because it is still running from the old program. This is why when you first start meditating, your foot will begin to itch, and then you will think of a task that you were supposed to do, and just like that, you will have a memory from 20 years ago. This is your body saying, come on, give up, this will not work, and let's just go back to the way things were in our miserable life. The body is equipped with a lot of tools, and it will do everything it can to stop you from entering into the unknown. The unknown is the best place to create your new future, and the best way to get into the unknown is to understand the unknown through meditation. Once you are in a deep meditative state, you can now begin to create your future. What kind of life do you want? What kind of behaviors would you like to project? What kind of person would you like to become? The act of closing your eyes and mentally rehearsing the things that you want in your life is the best way to create your future. If you are truly present, the brain does not know the difference between imagination and real-life experiences. Through the act of imagination, you are now installing the software programs needed for your future life. Now your brain is no longer a record of your past, but is now a map to your future. The hardest part is to teach your body what the emotional connection will feel like before the actual experience. Simply imagining it is not enough. You need to emotionally experience it in a feeling within your body. If thoughts are the language of the brain, then most definitely feelings are the language of the body. It is through feelings and emotions that your body finally understands what your mind is trying to tell you. If you don't feel anything, then that means that your body does not receive the signal. It's like the internet modem in your home. The internet is working, but you can't connect because you've turned off the Wi-Fi signal on your phone. The moment you start feeling the emotions of your thoughts, you are now connected to your internet. And you can now start to download your future life. This in turn means that you no longer need to wait for success to happen before you feel successful. You don't need to wait for wealth to feel abundant. You no longer need to wait for your relationship to feel love. According to Dr. Dispenza's quantum of reality, the very moment you start feeling abundance and worth, you are creating wealth. The moment you start to feel it, you are beginning to step towards your future. Now this means you are, therefore, creating your future. You are no longer living as a victim and saying things like, I am this way because of this person or that thing or this experience. Unfortunately, most people live their lives around these negative thoughts from their past. But here's the thing about thoughts that most people are unaware of. Just because you've had a thought does not mean that that thought is true. Let me repeat that. Just because you've had a thought does not mean that you should act solely upon that thought. On average, you have between 60 to 70,000 thoughts in a single day, and 90% of those thoughts are the exact same thoughts from the day before. If your thoughts have anything to do with your destiny, then your life is not going to change very much, because your thoughts will equal the same choices which will yield the same results as the day before. The same choices lead to the same behavior creates the same experiences, and the same experiences produce the same emotion. This is why it is very important to meditate, so you can be more aware of how you think, how you act, and how you feel. The more conscious you are, the less likely that an unwanted thought will slip by your conscious awareness unchecked. The word meditation means to become familiar with. So as you become familiar with your thoughts, behaviors, and emotions from your old self, you will no longer let them influence you. Instead, you start to think of new thoughts and condition your body into a new emotional state. If you do it long enough, this new emotional state will become familiar to you, therefore creating a new self. But first you must get rid of the old thoughts, the old habits, the old self with the old program. Training your body to meditate can be like training a wild animal. You will try to say, sit down and stay, and then it will run away, and you will go and get it, catch it, and bring it back. And then it will run away again. It's like the moment you start to meditate, your body will say, excuse me, but it is 3 o'clock now, and normally this is the time that you get really, really pissed off. But yet here you are, sitting down doing nothing exactly, way off schedule completely, and what exactly is going on? For years and years we've been getting angry together at the exact same time, so what is this thing that you are trying to do? So the body starts to send signals back to the brain, looking for that predictable chemical state, and the body does not care if that chemical state is a toxic state. Every time you become aware of what your body is doing, and you bring attention to the present state, you are telling your body that it is no longer the mind, and you are now the mind. And now your will is getting much greater than the program. And if you do this over and over again, just like a trained dog, it will sit down and obey. The very moment the body surrenders, there is a liberation of energy. You go from particle to wave, from matter to energy, and you free yourself from those emotional chains that keep yourself in the familiar past. If you do this for just 7 days, you will already begin to see a very positive change in your life. You will start catching yourself more often and avoid going back to the very familiar unhappy self. Of course, you will need to repeat this process until your future reality becomes your very current reality.